What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Other Side of the Firewall, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
And welcome to the show.
Yeah, he's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Got the
full
cast. Got the full cast. Definitely check out last week where we had Ms. Aisha Hollins on the discussion episode. We had a really good talk. She's a VCISO. It's episode 111, I want to say. Definitely check that one out if you don't check out anything else from our past episodes. We also have an interview with her probably 6 months ago. So definitely check that one out as well if you like more of a long form conversation with Ms. Hollins. The plan is to do that in the future as well with other people of color who are in those C-suite senior level positions, to definitely spotlight them and have a conversation, right? So usually I get to have a one-on-one with them, but I definitely want to get them in the mix with the panel and have that conversation. So look for another one maybe in a couple of weeks. I got to try to secure his booking to get him on, but I think it'll be pretty cool. So same format, Monday, Tuesday, we give you our topics. Wednesday, we'll have a discussion. This one is kind of grim when it's dealing with ransomware. We'll talk about it. And then Friday, of course, we keep things lighthearted and we talk about everything but cybersecurity. But with that being said, I give the floor to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article is from tomsguide.com. It's written by Paul Wagensile. And it's titled, "Your Apple Payments Can Be Stolen Over the Air. Here's What to Do." Now, before I go into this article, right, I want to talk about how I thought I had a friend who convinced me to go over to Apple, right? And now it seems like every other week there's something going on with Apple since I've come over. Now he'll say it's my fault. He'll say it's my fault, right?
They're consistently safe and secure until Shannon showed up and knocked the whole thing down. No, I was just playing. We go through some struggles right now. I don't know what it is. Like maybe because there's 1 billion iPhones out there. Finally, they're a target. I don't know.
I tell you what, they probably won't be a target in like a few more months if this keep happening. Look, I'm probably gonna change. I'm gonna sell this phone on eBay or something. I don't know. I'm gonna do something different. I don't know. But anyway, back to the article. So the premise, right? So Apple Pay has this thing that's called Express Pay, I believe is what it's called. Let me make sure I have the name right. I think it's called Express Travel Mode.
Yes.
It's called Express Transit or Express Travel Mode. And what it is, and this certain feature, what this allows people to do. So I noticed the places that this takes place, or that this can be exposed. They mentioned London, New York, Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Los Angeles, Chicago, DC, Portland, Oregon, San Francisco Bay Area, and throughout Finland and Japan. These are places that are very big on mass public transportation, right? And what this actually does is this allows people to use Apple Pay when it comes to public transit using a reader without unlocking the phone, right? This is the difference. So you don't have to unlock the phone to make this work, but there is an issue, okay? So this can be hacked. Now, the flaw, what it does, and actually it was introduced in iOS 12.3, and we're on iOS 15 now. And iOS 12.3 dropped May 2019, I think is what they said in the article. Let me make sure of that. Yeah, May 2019. And what it does is it allows someone to it's kind of like blue jacking, right? Bluetooth jacking. It allows someone to transmit these magic bytes to your phone to initiate a payment, right? Without actually having your phone in their possession. Now, it'd be great to have the phone in their possession, but they could just be hanging out. Again, this relates to places that do a lot of mass transit, right? So they could just be hanging out on the wall in the subway somewhere, you know what I mean? As you walk by with your phone in your bag and start this transaction that kind of gets them to, or gets your phone to transmit this data, and they start collecting money from you. and I watched this. They have a few sites out there that show how this works and whatnot. And I actually watched a video and I was like, man, this is just too much. You know what I mean? Like, this is why I stay away from stuff like this. As much as we like to say, hey, this is the most secure way to do things, there's always something like this that can happen, right? Like, technology does not stand still. We have to keep getting better, and things like this are what happen to make you doubt that these things are as secure as people say they are. And here's the thing. It's for convenience, right? We've said this on this show numerous times before. It's the convenience of it that makes it to where people are like, this is the best thing. This is the best thing for me. It works for me. I'm busy. I don't have to unlock my phone, and they make it even easier to unlock your phones nowadays. It's a fingerprint. It's a face scan. Like, you don't even have to type a pin in if you don't want to, but we're even to the point where we don't even want to do that. Like, just give me my locked phone, run it over the transmitter to pay my toll or whatever, and be good to go. Now, what worries me about this is that Apple, and this only happens when you have your Apple Pay set up with a Visa card. All right, and Apple and Visa are doing like this. Apple says it's Visa's fault. Visa says it's Apple's fault. Right now, the thing about this, LeVon, this will make you happy, and hopefully this will put me in good graces back with the Android crowd, so I can come on back home. Okay, but what the deal is with this is that this does not affect Samsung Pay. Okay, so it's one of those things. I know, and this is how Visa is able to point to Apple to say, well, wait a minute, this doesn't happen on Samsung Pay, so it's something in your program, it's something in your product that's allowing this to happen. So you guys need to fix it. So I think they kind of have a leg to stand on when it comes to this. But LeVon, what's your thoughts, man? Remember what I just said, though. Remember, I can come on home, right? If I want.
Right. Come on.
Right.
I have no comment. I don't even want to utter the A word from my mouth at this time, because it's just such a dirty word.
Here you go.
But nonetheless, this company and their payment system. Okay, I'll say it. Apple. Okay, they it's very like it's very concerning. I mean, as far as the having the access to kind of hack into a phone, and being able to use somebody's phone to make a payment without them realizing and authorizing it. I mean, it seems super convenient to be able to, I guess, walk through a subway and automatically pay. You have your phone in your pocket, in your bag or your purse or whatever, and you just walk through the turnstile and automatically pays for you, so you don't have to worry about pulling out your phone or pulling out whatever your tokens. So it's a pretty cool system, but obviously they have some work to do to make sure it's more secure. I mean, I really love the functionality within Google Pay and Samsung Pay, just to be able to go into a place if I don't have my wallet with me for some reason, or if I just want to use don't feel like pulling out my check, or not check, but my credit card, pull it on my wallet.
I was like, check. I know,
right?
How old are you?
Who writing check? I know. But I know you've seen those commercials where everybody's at the credit card and they're swiping it, and do swipe, and then somebody pulls out like a checkbook and it's like, and everybody like bumps into each other. But that was me back in the heyday when I was writing checks for stuff. But nonetheless, yeah, it's convenient nowadays to use the mobile phone payment systems just to kind of speed it up. It's even faster than a credit card nowadays. You don't have to pull out your wallet because everybody has their phone on them most of the time. But nonetheless, it's concerning, obviously, that some people have found ways to get into that system that they're using here. I mean, obviously, this is looks like it's kind of isolated to the UK. I guess we weren't really using this in the US yet. If I'm understanding correctly.
There's a few places with the mass transit. Yeah. So
okay.
Brooklyn, Oregon, New York,
okay,
area.
Yeah.
But again, places that have a big mass transit footprint.
Okay.
Public
Right.
mass transit.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah. So it's another reason why we shouldn't be using Apple devices. I mean, I'm just going to say it again. I mean, it's such a shame. And anybody that's using an Apple device right now, I just have to shake my head at you. But no, it can happen with anybody. Happen with any device. I was going to say, when I use my phone, like I said, with the mobile payment system. But I also like to turn off my NFC when I'm not using it, as a way to kind of safeguard, to make sure that the NFC is not automatically connecting to somebody else's device or something like that. Because I know there's some potential risk there using the NFC in general. So I try to turn it off unless I'm right about to pay, and then obviously turn it on, and then you have to boop it over top of the transmitter and then you have to actually confirm with a either thumbprint, or if you have your Face ID unlock or whatever, you can do that. But with this system here, I mean, it's trying to make it super convenient. We don't have to go through the steps, but at the same time, it kind of opens you up to risk. And I guess you gotta have to balance the convenience with versus the risk there. But I think obviously I don't go to the subway that much, but I would not use this myself. I feel like it's a little too convenient, a little too open in general. But hopefully they figure out a way to lock it down. But it seems like Apple and Visa are going back and forth trying to figure out who's to blame. But I guess we'll see what the future has in store for that. But what you got on this, Ryan? What you think?
So I'll pull it back up, because you trying to break this Apple train down. All right, Apple is great. All right, and Apple I trust.
Oh damn.
Again, Apple I trust. In Apple I trust. So I don't live in an area that has mass transit, right? I haven't since I joined the military. I haven't lived in one of those areas. So this feature wouldn't have bothered me, but there are implications, right? Like when I was talking to Shannon, like this, it may not be a far leap to do more damage with those who are not using mass transit. I exclusively only use Apple Pay whenever I pay for anything. I feel the record scratches when somebody pulls out their credit card. Why are you doing that? Why are you slowing me down? Like, I'm to the point where I don't pull my phone out anymore. I just use my wrist. You do double tap the wrist, slide up, pay for gas, convenience store, wherever. Like, I get mad when people don't take Apple Pay. Be honest with you.
Damn. Hey,
like, why are you not taking Apple Pay? Like, I pull up when I'm in the States, I pull up to the McDonald's and they ain't got the little thing outside the window. They put their hand out for my card. What do you want my card for?
Right.
Why is the scanner not out here so I can swipe my wrist across it? It's just so convenient. I'm sorry.
Do you call them peasants? Do you call them peasants too?
Peasants. After I get my food.
That's right. After you get the food.
Never before.
I want no floor spice. It is convenient, and with convenience, you do lose security, as it's to a certain extent, right? So this one is a weird. I think someone referenced a glitch between Visa and Apple, because it doesn't affect any other cards except for Visa cards. It doesn't affect any other payment systems except for Apple. So just whatever that cross between the two is causing issues, which is concerning. So I will be a little bit serious about it. They will figure it out and they will get it back up and running, because they have way too many people, especially if you talk about Beijing or New York or any of those huge hubs where people go through. They have to figure this out, because that's a perk to the system, right? They don't have to take their phones out. They just walk through the turnstile, and that's servicing millions of people who own your product. So they'll figure it out. They'll fix it. But that is kind of weird and kind of crazy. That I always thought that a replay attack would be possible, just from the way NFC works, but it's been so secure for so long. I read a stat. I want to say it was a week or two ago, that only like 6% or something like that, or less than 10% of people use Apple Pay, Google Pay, any of those pay wallets. Most people are still using credit cards or debit cards, and that blew my mind. 'Cause I was like, it's so convenient. But every time I talk to somebody about it, they're like, "Yeah, you can do that. You can pay with your wrist. Like you bought this $350 watch and you don't use it." But I mean, with that comes safety, right? So, but then with your card, you're susceptible to a skimming attack or old school theft, where they just take the impression off the card and excuse me, send it to somebody in a different state and try to make a purchase. I talk about how Wawa got owned, and it affected me when it happened, because somebody 3 states away tried to make. They tried to pull money. I think it was like they tried to do an express Walmart money order or something like that for $450. It went through, and then they tried to do it again from a different state, and luckily they blocked it and then refunded my money. If I was, poor airman or private Williams at the time, that $450 would have crippled me. So I'm glad they figured it out. So you're still susceptible with a card, but this just makes it easier, right? Some dude in a trench coat in the subway can steal your credentials and then go to somewhere else and make a payment on your behalf. So that is dangerous. So hopefully next week we talk about this and they've plugged that hole, or days from now or whatever they fixed it.
So here's the thing. You say hopefully next week, right? But it mentions in the article that they notified one of them October of last year, and then the other one was May of this year that they notified them. And still nothing's been done. I don't remember which one was which. I think it might have been they told Apple in October of 2020 and Visa in May of 2021. So that's where I'm kind of like, all right, you guys are just BSing now with doing this number. Somebody do something, right?
That's not even, what was it, like the 90 days before it was fully disclosed or whatever we talked about.
Yeah.
So that's beyond that. Excuse me, my voice starting to crack. There we go. I'm back. Maybe I am getting the code. That is crazy though, because that's people's money, right? Like I think they said the cap at the time was 100 pounds or 1350 US, and they know of ways to increase that. So I mean, somebody could literally empty out your bank account. So that is dangerous. So I would if someone were listening to me who has the system, I would recommend you cut it off and you pay old school style until they fix it. Because you don't want to not have money to pay your bills and what have you due to replay attack. So
or for the moment, just don't use a Visa if you absolutely have to have it, because it's only with Visa. You can use another credit card.
If you switch to a different card, you can use that as well. So either a different card or disable your NFC and go old school. But again, like there's no perfect solution, right? Because old school get you in trouble too. So that is tricky, but I'm going to continue to pay with my wrists. Just put that out there for the time being. Like if I saw that there was a danger to me as well, like if that leap is made, then I'll go back to old school as well. I even go back to paper check. I do that. Don't tempt me with a good time. I got a checkbook.
Look, I know we have one in my house somewhere, but I'd have to ask my wife where it is.
Right.
I have no idea where my checkbook is. I don't know.
Yeah, I keep one when I travel just in case it goes down. I need some money, write myself a check, pull some cash out. But I don't like carrying cash. So I'm always going to have some digital means because I carry very little cash on me because it'll get lost or get stolen, right? A credit card company will give you your money back. That's what they do. A bank will give you your money back kind of slower because they don't have the same incentive as a credit card company. So there's different things you can do, but not to belabor this topic any longer because y'all beating up Apple too hard. This is definitely something serious, and I'm glad we brought it up. And hopefully, if you're listening and you are in one of those areas, now you know what you didn't know, because I don't think this is posted anywhere. Apple didn't push out a message. Visa didn't push out a message. But Tom's Guide, they did it. They let the world know. So with that being said, please continue to tune in throughout the week. Definitely hit us up tomorrow where we have another great topic that LeVon will be leading. Wednesday will be discussion. Friday will be everything else. We get consumed a lot of good media. We got some console war stuff popping up as well that we want to talk about. Hit up the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you get to all our social medias. You can hit me up personally on the interwebs at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I am on Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. And you, LeVon?
Hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. So make sure you're staying safe and stay secure.
Take care.